Crystal Joy.
I'm David Raziel.
And this is I'm Psychic. I guess. Because the internet says anybody can be a psychic. And
figure it out.
We're going to see if that's true and let you know what's worth it and what's bullshit.
How are we going to figure that out, Crystal?
We're going to try everything that we can try, according to the internet. And then talk about it through a lens of grounded skepticism while also being open-minded.
We might not get everything right, but we're trying our best.
Yeah, just be mindful. This is a journey. We're probably going to get some stuff wrong. If we do get some stuff wrong, or it's problematic or misinformed, or you have information, let us know. We're more than happy to look it up and adjust.
This is a journey. This is not saying that we've mastered everything, so...
Yeah, something that I do always end up wanting to say mid-sentence in the episodes that I guess I'll start to say at the beginning. We're not talking like everything is fact. We're talking like as though psychic ability is real, as according to the people that I found on the internet. And what we've found through that lens that's been beneficial.
In our experience.
So it'll be like, oh, energy, imagine it this way, and it does this. Does it do that? I don't know, but the effects are positive. Just wanted to make sure that I disclaimer that. So last episode we finished talking about, what was it, protections and stuff like that, as per the request of some of our viewers. And we were going to talk about how that goes into like beliefs and lenses, and somebody also online has asked about shadow work. We're not going to get into that today. I'm actually very tired and didn't do research for this script today. So
it happens, dude.
Yeah, it
happens.
The build up to retrograde at the end of the week, which I guess is when this goes up.
Yeah. But hey, at least we're still fucking filming the damn thing.
Damn right, bitch. So today, because I'm not prepared, we're going to do a catch-up episode. So for those of you who are new at the beginning of every episode, we talk about psychic stuff that's happened to us that week. We discuss it very briefly before we get into the subject matter.
Sure.
And we often skip through it very quickly. And I don't get to talk about the interesting shit that I learned.
But this time, we're going to take our time and talk about it.
And it's a catch-up episode, so instead of doing catch-ups at the beginning, unless something really interesting happens, we're going to be doing, like, I don't know, periodic catch-up episodes?
Sure.
Yeah, so we just talk about everything that happened / learned, and yeah, that's what this one is today, because I'm tired.
I like this.
What do you think about this, David?
That sounds good to me.
Well, let's start off with you. Tex?
Oh, yeah, because mine is going to be very short.
So what has happened with you psychically?
Mostly figuring out that I need to heal.
Ooh, why'd you figure that out? How'd
because
that happen?
I want to be more focused on media, YouTube, and a whole bunch of different stuff, and I'm stuck at this goddamn fucking job, and I'm like, why is this happening to me? What is the point? Everything we went through, was it like all for nothing?
There's the people who have found us since we started doing this who are a little confused.
Oh yeah, sure. Sorry, we used to do animation.
That had nothing to do with spirituality.
That's
barely anything to do with spirituality.
A little bit to do with spirituality.
The littlest bit.
The littlest bit. And I fucking enjoyed the shit out of it. So.
And we were good at it.
We were good at it. I had a lovely time doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like my heart.
Yeah. I made the joke all the time when I posted on Instagram stories to promote the video. Please watch it. It took a piece of my soul. I always said that joke because I think it was true. Like a piece of my soul went into every single one of those episodes.
Yeah, dude. I mean, like I fucking miss it, to be honest.
I know. I do too.
And
what does that have to do with psychic ability?
Well, we're talking about healing. So I was trying to ask the questions like, what is this all for? What am I doing now? Like, where are we even going? Mm-hmm. And all I got from our time with looking inward and also with tarot reading was you need to heal. You need to focus on healing. I'm like, fuck all that. But I had to, being forced to do it. So
we did that animation for that channel for 4 years. And even before that, we were animating on another channel for an additional 6 years. So we were animating for about 10 years, got really good at it, made phenomenal contacts that people would give their left titty to have. Like great, lovely friends with these people who are phenomenal contacts. And then like the moment that we made those really big contacts, it all went to shit.
Yeah.
And we couldn't do it anymore.
Sure.
Because of actions of certain people. So you're mad and you can't really focus on psychic ability because all of this is going on. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, basically. Thanks for summing that up in a very cohesive way. Mm-hmm. I'm full of tired and emotion. You see Crystal kind of doing all this psychic stuff and like kind of breaking ground and moving forward, and I just feel like very stuck. And so kind of asking, what's my journey look like? What's my move forward? And it was very much like, well, you need to focus on the stuff that's getting in the way, which is...
And what was that? That was tarot?
That was tarot, yeah.
And so that's a psychic thing.
Yeah, so we did some psychic stuff with tarot readings.
You did a tarot reading, like, what's going on? Why is this so miserable? Was it all for nothing?
Yeah.
I'm sure people can relate.
Mm-hmm. Whether you're crying to God or the tarot. And in some cases,
or
they're both.
Or just to the sky in general.
Or to the sky in New York crying. Are you really a New Yorker if you haven't done that? So I've been focusing on just kind of looking inward, getting more in touch with my shortcomings, which I'm not going to discuss because that's private.
Well, okay. So you were doing these things. Mm-hmm. Where am I going? I want to feel like I'm contributing because you're at work all the time. Yeah. And I'm kind of the one doing the TikTokers, which I have not been uploading my individual TikTok videos. So, like, you're in every video on TikTok. But simultaneously, that's not what you're doing with your week. No. So you're not feeling great. And so when you do try to do psychic stuff, which is like meditate and doing all the stuff that I'm doing, you feel like there's a blockage there. I mean,
100% there's a blockage there. I wish there wasn't, but I can only do so much with...
the time that you have.
Not only the time that I have, but the amount of gusto that I have. You know?
Passion?
I have so much passion. I am sad.
Yeah.
And pushing towards... trying to build something anyway on top of that, you know.
It's hard, especially after such a big loss.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's like my bedtime right now, and we're filming this.
Because it's late, we have to.
Yeah, it's late, we have to, and I got to get up fucking early tomorrow, so...
So what have you found when you healed? You don't have to get into, like, what your shortcomings are, but what does that journey look like for you on the day-to-day? Last time we checked in, you were meditating. We're trying to meditate at work. And I'm assuming during that you found these blockages.
Yes.
So now instead, what actions are you taking, or what does that look like? Does it look like just like thinking quietly to yourself at lunch? Like, what does that look like?
It looks like about 10 minutes in the mornings when things are first getting started within this job. It looks like really going back and meditating on first just being present.
So you are still doing that?
I am still doing that.
That's good.
But it also kind of looks like the situations that led to this, seeing where my past traumas failed me in the actions of those relationships that led to the situation that we're in.
I could just be tired. That last sentence was confusing. What?
No. So my past traumas had affected my relationships.
Okay.
Those relationships helped lead to the situation that we're in.
Okay, so basically, I know the situation, and I know you don't want to go too far into it. But basically, you attracted people like attracts like. You were in a place that wasn't super great.
Sure.
And you're a people pleaser.
Well, being a people pleaser, I realized how much that affected my relationships in general.
Yeah.
And there's two sides, right? Where it's like, well, I just want them to like me. Mm-hmm. In general, I just trying to be cool with people. But it's also a form of manipulation.
Which is what we talked about last
Which is what we were talking about, right? You don't mean to. Yeah. But you're trying to get friendship from them. Mm-hmm. That's their decision to make. You know, that is their decision to make.
And how did that lead you to a place where you feel, what are you doing with your life then? Because this all goes into like, I can't do psychic stuff because of this. And so I'm reflecting on my people pleasing.
That is a blockage that's happening. So until I come to terms with that, I can't move forward in my psychic ability because it consumes me.
That makes sense.
So that's kind of where I am.
And also you're like at a crossroads where it's like, where is this even going? What was all of that for?
Like, you know,
did I fuck that up? Which, interesting. We're going to keep on this just for a little bit longer. But something that I picked up from my mentor, like the one time we had a conversation, one of the biggest things that we picked up, which, you know, I talked about where you were at the time that we did everything, the timelines and what that means and what that could have meant back then. And we'll get into that. But it's similar.
What's sad is that a part of me still wishes that things were different.
You still wish that we were doing what we were doing?
No, not just that. Just even with those people. Like, I still wish that things played out differently.
So you're doing a lot of shadow work, it sounds like.
I am. I'm doing a lot of shadow work, which is what they said to do. Heal, right? Heal.
Yeah, heal.
Get psychic ability by healing.
I mean, yeah.
And move forward also in life. That's where I'm at. That's where this week has been. Every day is a struggle.
I think that's completely fair, dude. Honestly, it's a lot. And it does tie into what I learned in my psychic journeys.
I think
so
what
far.
also is big for me is,
Yeah.
though this is like sort of progression for me, right? It's like, oh, you're progressing in your own way. It's not progressing like you're fucking progressing. You're doing some super duper cool shit.
I mean, it's like moments of cool shit and then a whole lot of thinking quietly to myself, like you've been. Like, when I talked to my mentor for the first time, like, remember I complained? Like,
Yeah.
I complained. I was like, I didn't get, like, half of the information. Like, we talked for, like, an hour, and I didn't even get anything that I wanted. But, like, I watched it back, and I was like, oh, no, so much was said, and it's just not what I wanted to hear.
Yeah.
And I had to deal with that. And so, like, I have cool moments, which we'll talk about, and then we have mentioned in the beginning of other podcasts, but a lot of it is just like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing either, mate. I miss drawing. I miss storytelling. I miss creating stuff. I do. Like, this is fun, and I genuinely do enjoy it, and I enjoy sitting and talking with you, despite the fact that we're both fucking tired. I enjoy these conversations. And I really enjoy the little community that we're building around it. They're really cool people.
Yeah. Maybe one day we'll go back to drawing.
I would like to add it in somehow at some point. I don't know, maybe draw the bloopers? I don't know. That's where I'm at. Like, I also don't know.
Right.
So I'm like, I guess I'll just do this. And when I start, like, getting frustrated, because it's also very vulnerable for me too.
Yeah.
You know, this whole thing. So I have people in my life, like, I talk about it in all the episodes. Oh, deconstructed, blah, blah, blah. Boy, oh boy, do I know for a fact that people are talking about the fact that I'm doing this.
I mean, we might have grown from the church, but we knew the importance of it at the same time.
I think there's value in it for those who are there. And I think if that's where you go, and that's the pinnacle of where you go, I think that's valid and beautiful, and you can have an amazing, fulfilling life circumstance and relationship with the divine there. Simultaneously, me and my relationships with all of those various churches that we went to and the things that I learned and the shame that I was forced to experience. And
Sure, I do.
I'm just like, and then I learned, I think what really did it was like when I learned that in seminary, they actually teach the truth and then actively tell all the potential pastors to not ever tell anybody the truth, because people can't handle it, quote unquote, but it's so they're easier to manipulate. And I'm like, that for me was like the fuck this.
Sure.
That was me for the fuck
you
this.
being a truth seeker, I could see why that would affect you so hard.
We'll get into that. That's some interesting stuff that my mentor talked about as well. So
let's talk about what you've been going through.
Yeah, I took 2 mediumship development classes.
Whoa.
I would love to do more. Don't have the munds. Probably going to do it like once a month. In the first psychic mediumship development class, I think I said it. Spark notes, I guess, for those who don't remember and or did not hear that episode. It was a very small class. They were both very good. A seasoned, one would say, lovely elder ladies. Very sweet. And so I was nervous as fuck. And
this was your first class.
This was my first class
That's
ever.
a big deal.
Yeah. It was.
It was. It's a big deal. You've always wanted something like this.
Yeah.
2, like, you're not sure about any of this.
Yeah, no, this is all guessing. I feel like I'm just making shit up as I go. And so to go, I'm like, these people know what they're doing. And then one of them was like, what was it? There was a test, which was interesting.
Yeah.
To warm up. It's just something I wanted to talk about, but I didn't get to talk about that one day. Was say a 3 to 5 minute story, make one thing a lie. And we all did it.
What's the purpose of making one thing a lie?
Having the people who are listening tuning in and see if they can find the lie.
That's pretty cool, actually.
Mm-hmm.
We should do no, I would know. Unless it's some story. I mean, unless it's one of these, I could be at work and you could tell me a story.
Maybe, I don't know. Like, that's something to think about. I think that was really cool and interesting. I did pretty good. In the last episode that we did during the intuition test, I was like, no, because blah, 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 blah. That's where I got that from. We did the lie test, and for one of the women, I picked up, she lied about the type of dog that she had at the very beginning. And she ended up lying about something else later, which I did think it was that, but I didn't say it, so it doesn't count. And I was like, oh, dang, I got it wrong. And then she was like, actually, She was like about to say it, and then she changed her answer.
Which is why you said what you said to me.
Yeah, which is why I said what I said to you.
Interesting that it works. I think it works better too because you don't know them.
Yeah, I don't know them at all.
So that you can't even like know their tells.
No, not at all.
You have to intuitively.
Intuit? You can intuit there.
Yeah, get into it.
Okay.
Anyway, you have to intuitively decide.
And they grip to the newness of people because I was like, because I wanted to talk, and they're like, no, don't. They did say this, but the energy was like, don't you fucking say anything. Don't you fucking say a goddamn thing.
Yeah.
They were very sweet. They're like, shh, don't say that. But the energy was like,
no, it's important
shut the fuck up.
It's important to the exercise. I can see.
Yeah. And after that, we went into, okay, we're just going to like do a general reading. Somebody goes, see if they pick up somebody, and then you claim it. So it's not like, okay, this is for you. Like somebody just starts talking, and if it sounds applicable to you, you're like, that could be for me. Maybe that sounds like somebody that passed away. And then they go. And in that exercise, it wasn't just a free mediumship reading. It was the person who picks up like, oh, this is my loved one that's coming through to this person. Sure. You have to lie to them. And so the medium who's doing the reading, I guess it like tests how much they're like, no. Because I don't know if you've seen Hollywood Medium, the Tyler Henry thing. Somebody will go, it's rare, but somebody will be like, no, that's not true. And he goes, yes, it is.
I have seen that.
Like, that the gusto, the balls, the confidence.
Well, when you know, right?
That's what she's testing, because a lot of people will get especially when you're starting mediumship, the teacher said you'll get this really great like high, and then somebody will be like a no, and then it just starts, you start doubting yourself, you get in your own head. So it's really trusting, right? And she said, for me, I'm not going to do that. We're just going to try to do a medium reading. But for those two, they did. And they did great. Yeah. Like this lady tuned into my grandma. She was remembering shit that I didn't even remember. Like,
so did that make you believe more?
Yeah, because these ladies knew nothing about me.
Yeah.
That I used an anonymous fucking email. I didn't say that I do what I do. Like, they're old, like sweet, beautiful, but elderly. Like, they don't use the internet. But this woman like started telling me about the kind of garden my grandma had, and the kind of relationship that we had, the kind of trees that were in her yard, the kind of time, the private conversations that we had that not even my family know that we had. Like moments that we shared together and stuff that I forgot.
You know
so
what?
I was like, oh my God, this
that's awesome.
I was crying in the club. Like it was first like evidential, and I was remembering to say my lies, and this woman was so in the flow. She didn't even like harp on it. She's just like, okay, that's wrong. Anyway, moving on. Like it was interesting. But I was crying in the club about it because my grandma was just like, what you're doing is good.
Yeah.
Then it was my turn. Then this is the part that I shared on the podcast. I did a mediumship reading for somebody, and they came through. It was very interesting.
That's sick.
Besides just, I did it, and it was cool. I wanted to share stuff that I found from it. It's that it always comes in a person, like a feeling of a person walking towards me this way.
This is just your experience.
This is me. This is what it felt like, and what it feels like when people go, yes. So if you close your eyes and just somebody walks up to you, it's like that, but your eyes are open.
Okay. Well, your eyes are open?
Yeah, like my eyes are open, and I'm like thinking, and I'm like whatever, but I can almost, it's like feeling a person walk up.
Okay.
From specifically my left direction front.
That's interesting. So the only time I've ever felt anything like that is when spooky shit was happening. I was able to feel that presence or like something is there. And if any of you have ever been scared, you've probably felt that kind of feeling too. Like something just feels off about that direction. Like you're like, oh, that sounds off. Or if you've ever played Phasmophobia, that sound, that kind of deafening sound of like silence is there in a way.
Yeah, it's kind of. It's different for everybody, supposedly.
Sure, it's not as malevolent.
No, it wasn't. She said, don't deny anything. And I was like, bet. And so I didn't. And there was a lot of nonsense at the beginning. And then I was like, somebody's coming from this direction. She's like, okay, lean into it. And I got two conflicting pieces of information, interestingly, from her and then from my mentor. She said, don't worry about your clairsenses. Just feel into it. Feel into the spark. And I was like, okay. My mentor was like, you should know the difference between your clairsenses. So
interesting.
I know. Two schools of thought. Very interesting. And so I tried not to worry too much about it. And it was like a static person, you know, in like the little boy anime Jobless Reincarnation, what's it called?
Moshoku Sensei.
Yeah, that. When he goes to the white space, there's like this formless person.
Yeah.
It's like that, except for it's white noise static in my mind's eye.
Interesting.
And that happened again with the other thing. Anyway, they come in and I lean into it and they start taking form.
Are your eyes open at this point?
I'm closed. My eyes are closed.
Oh, okay.
And they start taking form. And it's interesting for me. It wasn't just like, this is what they look like a little, but I started getting like, they showed me overalls in plaid, and which to me was like blue collar worker. And I said overalls in plaid, blue collar worker. Nobody picked it up, which they're supposed to be like, that could be for me. And then I was like, okay, what's going on? Who are you? And he goes, in my mind's ear, hello, I would like to talk to Sarah, that's a fake name. But, and I was like, oh, he wants to talk to Sarah. And this teacher was like, bitch, what?
Interesting.
That never happens. Like,
so blatant.
People claim it. You never go, it's for you.
Yeah.
And she knows that this was my first class. So she was like,
Ballsy.
what the fuck? Yeah. Like at the end, she was like, that was very confident of you. And I was like, you said say everything.
Yeah.
And I think I said that in a previous podcast. Anyways, interesting.
So when you were guessing left or right for me,
Yes.
is that how you saw it? There's no static person. So.
No, that is less of a person coming at me this way. That is exactly what I said it is, which I close my eyes and I try to feel for the answer. And it goes left. My brain goes left. And I found through trial and error that it's the one that does not come first. It's the quiet one. So whichever one is quieter, literally in my brain, there's a left and then there's right.
Interesting. Well, for me, the quiet one was not right. Okay. I just want to point that out. So I guess it was different for everyone.
It is different for everybody. And that's the whole point of these. But again, this is just what happened to me. I'm not sure what to make of it or why.
Just your experience.
This is just my experience. And then Sarah was like, that sounds like somebody that I know who's passed. Sure. They didn't wear overalls. I was like, they were a blue collar worker though. Because that could just be a symbol.
Yeah.
And she's like, yes. And I was like, okay. And then I detailed once I connected, it got really quick, which that lady talked about. Like once you connect to that person and start engaging with that person, that's when things really start to flow. And it's true.
And this was the first one or the second one?
That's the first one. The second one is the one where I got a lot of really interesting information, not just about a cool thing happened, but about linking and psyching yourself out and shit like that. I had that meditation in the morning. Apart from that, somebody in that same direction, but I wasn't trying to link with anybody. I was just reading the energy of the room.
Have you gotten anything from a different direction, or is that just your direction?
From a passed on person, it's always from that direction.
Interesting. Maybe that's just your direction.
I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't have any direction.
This is only 2 times though, so I don't know.
Yeah.
And then I tuned into that but not by accident. They forced me almost to, because I was meditating and my whatever. And they were like, hello, you're gonna talk to
this was before the actual.
Yes, this was the morning, like 7 a.m.
Okay, I thought this was during the second.
Nope, the second one started at like fucking 3 p.m. Like this was very far apart.
So you're just doing your morning meditation.
Yep, and I scanned the room with my eyes are closed. I put my energy to the room. I'm just trying to notice. I do this every morning, and there's this static figure. And I'm like, huh. I notice. I don't connect because that's not the exercise. Static figure was interested and was like, hello, you're gonna talk to this girl later, and there's a bee and a dog that you need to know about. And I was like,
this is what you mentioned last time.
Yeah, this is the one I mentioned, the bee and a dog. And I was like, okay, well, go in my waiting room. So like somebody I follow on TikTok says that happens to them, and they put them in a waiting room. So I was like, okay. And the whole time I'm like, what the fuck? Like, whatever. Again, I'm open, but I'm also skeptical. I'm like, my mind could just be making this up, knowing that I have this thing later.
Yeah. Were you thinking about it at all?
No.
So you were thinking about nothing.
I was thinking about nothing. I was thinking about scanning the room.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it was weird. And so later, it was my turn.
Yeah.
I did it. That girl fucking almost sobbed. Crying in the club. Like, which, again, nobody was really connecting it to anybody in that way. They'll be like, yeah, that could be. I don't know. There was a lot of, I don't know, maybe.
Yeah.
But for that girl, I was like, the routine, the thing was this time, say your message first and then evidence. It's always evidence first and then message, typically. They were all freaked out because I guess they're learned.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I don't know how the fuck this works. So, yeah.
This is what I got.
And here's the thing that I wanted to talk about.
I would be so interested in getting into one of those classes.
Oh, it's so interesting.
But go ahead.
the thing that I wanted to take away that was valuable is that I did something by accident, which actually ended up ruining my reading, called pre-linking. So it's fine that I had that meditation earlier and I put them in the waiting room. So when it was coming to be my turn, I, in my mind, got them out of the waiting room. I was like, hey, kid, your time's up.
Yeah.
I'm going to go next soon. And I felt I have this physical sensation that happens when I do tarot that I know I'm hitting it correctly.
Yeah.
That physical sensation happened. And I was like, I think I'm connected. Like, I think I can do it, right? And they start going off. And I'm like, okay, it's not my turn yet. Like, we're getting ready so that when it's my turn, I can. And they're like, the message is this. They have to make a decision, do this. This is the answer. Like, all this shit.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, okay, wait. And then, okay, I was going to go next. But then somebody was like, I have to leave. Can I go? And then somebody else did that too after her. And so I was, the connection that was so spicy, dead.
Gone. Should have told them, hey, no cutsies. Huh? I got to go too.
So ends up that message, for the messages, a few people had been raising their hands. For the message that I gave, only one girl raised her hand. It was a group of like 13 or 14. It turns out that what I did, one, that was correct. My message was hyper specific to that girl. I said the bee and the dog thing from this morning.
Yeah.
Sobbed. Like, one of those. And nobody had done that. So I was like, oh. And the teacher was like, hey, girly, we should talk. I was like, yeah, I'm good at this. But I couldn't do it again.
You are pretty good at it. I can't do some of the stuff you do.
I don't know because I couldn't. She was like, that person, because the teacher, because great, I guess, she could see everything. She's like, that person's still there waiting to talk to you. But she told me the issue was that I pre-linked out of anxiety. So what that is like, I want to make sure that I have this person. And then you talk to them. This is the valuable part that I was taught, right?
Yeah.
For those who are trying to develop psychic ability and or are interested in what they teach in these classes.
Me.
You. She was like, that's called pre-linking. And you do that out of anxiety to make sure that when it's your turn, you have this. I was like, that's exactly what I did. And she was like, don't do that. She goes, because when you first have that, you have this flow and this conversation and this stuff. And then it starts to go stagnant. And then you start psyching yourself out about what you got.
Oh, she's not wrong.
And that is an error that, like, it happens. It's okay to pre-link when you're starting because you are anxious.
Yeah.
But make sure you don't do it too soon. And then there's a matter of staying in the present so that you don't lose it. So I got it, and I was basically just reiterating what was said to me before, but I wasn't engaged with this feeling. Yeah, my physical feeling was gone. I didn't feel like it was really there anymore.
Yeah.
And the teacher was like, it's about slowing that mind back down and connecting even if it takes a long time.
That's interesting. Well, let me finish with my shadow work before I even get to talk about that. But that's still really cool.
It was really cool. So it's just something about psyching yourself out and being like that, the importance of being present. Again, I don't know what to make about that. If you're a skeptical, not cynic, a skeptical person listening, I would love to know what you think that is, because I am baffled that I don't know any of these women.
Yeah.
None whatsoever. So I don't know. And it could be, oh, that was really vague. Everybody in the class was saying really vague shit. And it really didn't hit for anybody.
I don't know. B-Dog, it's kind of a thing. It's not.
I don't know. I don't know what it was, and I'm not going to act like I do.
Can't be like the Earth. Don't know what that means, but on a planet. That's vague.
I saw a lot of vague shit in the class.
The soup, the sky. Red? No.
Yeah, I saw a lot of vague shit in that class, and nobody really had a reaction like that. I also don't want to make it sound like, because I'm so good at this.
No,
I'm not, but it was interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting.
And I feel like that, because it was like that, as compared to these like other people who had been doing this for a while, that it was all really vague. I'm like, oh, okay, so there is something to that. I don't know what it is. Lastly,
yeah,
my mentor.
Sure. I
wanted to, learn psychic shit. And they're like, yeah, I have all of this stuff for you that I've tuned into beforehand. Do you want to know it? Or do you want me to answer one or two generalized questions for you, like an actual psychic session? I was like, yeah, bitch. Because we talked about this in the beginning of the episode. What the fuck is going on with my career? Is this even... What? I mean, again, for those who are listening, I do enjoy doing this. Yeah. I'm still coping with the sharp turn that we made, as I'm sure people who admired our old work are also still coping with.
We miss you guys, too.
We miss you guys, too.
And we miss doing it.
It's a shift. And I'm like, man, what was that? Like, and I'm hoping I can have like a tell me where this trajectory is going. Because I've had other tarot readers who completely anonymous, random selected,
Right.
who got great reviews and were very, very accurate, have all been like, this is going to go relatively well for you. I'm like, fuck it. All right.
Yeah, like, fuck
like,
it, all right.
fuck it. And so I'm hoping to get more details from this person.
Lord knows we were putting like all of our heart into these animations and getting
Nothing.
2K
Yeah,
of watch.
absolutely nothing. Yeah. So
Heartbreaking.
So they goes, what do you mean your career? And I'm like, I'm doing this thing. There was this change, and is it gonna go well? And so they go, there are infinite numbers of timelines at any given time. And so you can do any number of things with your career. I need specifics. Like, what do you mean? And I'm like, okay, because this particular person can see timelines.
Yeah.
Not just, the future. It's a number of timelines and how they play out. And what's the more imminent one, they say. And so I was like, okay, is this thing that I'm doing, it's different, it's new, it's vulnerable, it's all of these things, and I'm tired of things failing. Will this one fail too? And also, you've been sad, and I was like, I would love to have something. I would love to have something positive to bring back to my husband. And they go, what makes you think it's positive? And I was like, no, don't tell me that. And so they go, don't worry about that. The more imminent one at the given moment isn't particularly something that you want. And with that being the case, I think the thing that's more conducive to what you want is going to be me talking about the colors of your soul. And I was like, okay, what the fuck?
Right. Not what I want to hear.
Not what I want to hear.
But
okay,
relevant and important.
Whatever. And so what gets talked about is these very hyper-specific ways about why I am the way I am, how I think about situations, and how that affects the things that I work on.
I so want to know mine.
You would benefit so much. And I hope I can get that for you. But basically, for me, one is like aura, the other one is like your soul. I don't know. But my aura defaults to lavender, which they say it's different from what everybody else says. They have their own thing. But basically, that means I'm constantly seeking knowledge, which is what you said at the beginning.
Right.
Like, Crystal,
Truth seekers.
You're a truth seeker, so why that bothers you. And that's why David said that, was because we have learned that I'm constantly trying to learn new things, find new things. I mean, my fucking sister always makes jokes that I write research papers for fucking fun. A little.
A little.
I am a little Leslie Knope.
Somewhat.
And I'm also deeply ADHD. So I do these things. So yes, when I was deconstructing and I learned that was
inspirational for you, to be honest.
Really? I was going to say a betrayal. So that's why it was so hard for me.
That I get why you would say that, but that's a big knowledge bomb, I think.
Yeah.
For you to grasp how the world works for you.
Yeah. And so that's how I work on things. And they were like, so first of all, they told me to satiate I want to switch things all the time. Something's not working. I get what I want to get out of it and I'm done. Let's move on. And that started to happen with this fucking shit that we're doing.
God.
I almost started getting antsy about what we're doing.
Yeah.
And they were like, commit, buddy. Commit to the thing that you're doing right now. Don't stop doing it. I think you have a lot of interesting things ahead of you if you just commit to this. So, interestingly, if you find, dear listener or viewer, that you have a similar issue, told me to get 4 small vases and fill them with fresh flowers once every 2 weeks. That would force me to be present. That would force me to appreciate and anticipate the change. And that would like satiate this like need for change that I have all the time. And it's worked great. I get new flowers every new moon and every full moon.
It's nice.
It's been really lovely. And then the second thing was that my soul color, basically, I function in reciprocity. So if I feel like I'm putting something in and then I don't get it back, everything goes to shit googly moogly. Like, absolutely. Like, and they said that my like mood, though most people kind of like go down like a little slope, mine is a plateau. And I get to
just skydive down.
really, like, I'm okay until I'm like really fucking not. And it happens quick and it's like a spiral and it's like we're fuck everything. Everything's not okay. And that's what happens when I don't have this reciprocity feeling.
I can attest to that.
Yes, you can. Which is so funny because of anyway, all of that to say, they said, focus on doing these things. Where can you find reciprocity in your work? I was like, oh, well, there wasn't any last time. No wonder that shit failed, if that's the case.
In animation?
Yeah. There was none.
We just said that we
I
poured
would
our hearts
pour
out.
my soul,
Yeah.
the energy of my essence into these things for months, 3 months for one video, to have 2K views,
Yeah.
to have people being shitty to me, to have no fucking views. There was no reciprocity there.
Right.
None whatsoever. And so I'm not surprised that it failed, with that being how my energy functions. And so they were like, with this, think about how you can find more reciprocity. So I stopped posting shorts on YouTube. They were so mean over there, you guys.
They were.
They were so mean. The
like,
audience,
what is their problem?
The analytics tells you everything. The analytics for TikTok is like 75% female, ages 24 to whatever. And on YouTube is the exact opposite. For some reason, YouTube was like 24-year-old men. 75% of your audience should be 24-year-old men who listen to fucking
What's interesting to
these
me
other podcasts.
about that is that throughout the generations, that's something that does not change.
What, the men are mean?
Yeah. They're fucking shitheads.
Yeah.
No?
Honestly, I think we won't get into it, but I think it's just how YouTube's algorithm works. So like, oh, they like podcasts. This is a podcast. You should watch that. But what podcasts are big on YouTube? Joe Rogan and fucking Logan fucking Paul.
Yeah, all misogynistic.
Yeah, and so it makes
shit.
sense that that's what YouTube gave. But because of that, I would log in and I would just, my heart would break into a million pieces. And I'm trying to not take things personally. But this is, as I said in the beginning, really vulnerable for me. So I was like, you know what? On that note, fuck YouTube Shorts. I don't care if it's getting views. It's making me super sad.
Yeah.
So I'm just not going to post over there anymore.
Yeah, I suggested it too. I was like, we should just fuck that place.
I already feel better.
Good.
I already feel so much better.
That's exactly what I wanted.
And so the reciprocity, I find myself spiraling or like not getting in a good place. They said, where are you lacking in knowledge and where are you lacking in change and where are you lacking in merit and reciprocity? And if you focus from those ways, you will have a better trajectory in your career. Your timelines will clear up to a direction where you want to go.
Now I just need to find mine so that I can clear up my blockages and muck of whatever is happening.
I was so mad. I think what we were talking about at the beginning, the very last thing I want to say, not to cut you off, you were talking about the beginning. That's exactly what happened after that conversation, David. I sobbed in the bathtub.
Yes.
Why did I sob in the bathtub? What did I immediately go to?
Oh, that you failed, yeah.
Which is another telling sign of like my soul color. Like if I didn't get this reciprocity, I feel like I don't deserve to live, basically. It's really a lot. But like I said, plateau, right? Steep drop. And so instead of hearing that and being like, oh, I'm going to do that, I heard that. I said, I didn't get what I wanted. I wanted them to be like, this is
not what I wanted.
That's not what I wanted. Oh, those who watched that video. That was a quote from a video. It was a funny fucking video. Anyway, that's not what I wanted. And what I wanted was, this is the timeline that you want, and this is how you get there. That's what I was looking for.
Right.
Instead, it was like, not looking great, Tex. Maybe stop spiraling and stop not committing to things and stop beating yourself up and stop doing stuff without anything in return. It was like, oh, just do those things. Your timeline will start going in a trajectory that you want. And all I heard at the first day, I had to re-listen to it and do some of my own shadow work, was that other shit would have worked if you would have just done that.
Yeah.
That's all I heard. And so I ugly cried in the bathtub after that fucking meeting.
Yeah.
I was just like, I'm a failure. Like, I could have made it work, and it was because I was in this place that it didn't, and I fucked it up because I fuck everything. It was.
Yeah.
I was playing into my soul color.
But
like,
we got better.
Oh no, I needed to get it out of my system. I think I leaned on therapy talk over to a mental health place, everybody. My first therapist that I ever had introduced me to radical acceptance. Of course, you did what you could with the information that you had, and everybody did what they could with the information that they had and the emotional maturity that they all had at the time, and there's no other way it could have gone.
All right, that's what I said to you.
That you reminded me of that, and I was like, oh yeah, radical acceptance. And that helped a bit. So the first thing the mentor told me, it wasn't like, hey, this is how you tune in, and this is how you see timelines, and this is where you're going to get in your career. It was like, okay, buddy, this is the toxic stuff that you do. Maybe don't do that. And I was like, it's okay. No, it's fine. It's cool. It's fine. It's cool. I'll do that, I guess. And I am. I'm doing it.
Good.
I'm trying. I do feel kind of like I'm just kind of still going back and forth, like, what is even happening?
Yeah, we're still there.
What is even happening? But, I'm going to leave it off on this note. I kept getting this message the year that we were trying to really make last year, when we were pouring our souls into these videos to make it happen. Enjoy the unfolding. I kept getting the number 1010. I would look at everything and it would say 1010. Enjoy the unfolding, right? And then I don't know where we're headed now, and I don't really know how this is going to go, but like I think it's interesting and I think it's helpful and I enjoy it. So I'm going to try to enjoy the unfolding of things and not try to get to a place. Vince?
I think that was a really, really good catch up.
I think we are all the way caught up with what's going on with us, and we learned some things.
We sure did.
We sure did. If you have any questions or want to know more about something, let us know. And we upload this podcast every week.
You can find updates about the podcast on all platforms. Just follow us at I'm Psychic, I guess.
And you can follow our personal, just what we're doing for funsies, not to do with this, at the Doodles, at the DOOTLEZ.
That's at the DOOTLEZ.
I don't know what we're talking about next episode. I'm too tired to figure it out. Stay tuned for the mysteries, I guess. We'll be back next week. Bye.
Bye.